Okay. Good morning, ladies. Leanne and I are here, and we welcome you to our biblical oils call. We are heading into the month of Cheshvan. So, are we all ready? I know I am. I always look forward to the new moon. Leanne, how about you? Sorta, yeah. It's a new year, it's a new month. Um, we just came through all the feasts, and so yeah, I can understand that little hand wave. I'm kind of there, but I look forward to tomorrow instead of looking in the rearview mirror. That's what I tell myself. I'm keeping telling myself. So I am over at my daughter's, so I'm not in my usual uh, surroundings here, but it's all good. My daughter, I don't know if I've mentioned, but she had broke her arm. We moved here in June, middle of June. She broke her arm the beginning of July. So I was helping her with the boys. It was her right arm. She has a 1 year old and 2 year old. And then after she got the cast off, her tendon in her thumb to her wrist burst. So she had to have surgery. So I've been here since then, and we're going on, I think it's 5 weeks now. So that's why I'm over here. And yeah, so it's been good. And I always say our issues live in our tissues and our bodies tell all our secrets. So we've been doing some stuff to help her kind of release some of that because she's an artist and a fine artist. She's right-handed, so you can just imagine all the thoughts and emotions that get deposited. And so we've been trying to release some of those with success. We've had success, so that's always good. And so, yeah, that's why I'm looking forward instead of backwards, because we've come through that season. We had a great feast time. I'm sure you all did. I hope you all did. And yeah, so, all right. So, the month of Cheshvan, I think I'm saying it right, meaning rain, increase, produce, and quiet. And so that's what I'm going to talk about is being quiet and maybe hopefully help you kind of get in touch with just being quiet. And the reason I chose that part to talk about today in the oil talk is because this is 5782. It is a year of rest. It's the seventh year in the cycle, so it's all about rest. And also this month, being part of it is being quiet because we just came through all the feasts. It's kind of quiet. And so also with this month, we know that Manasseh is the tribe and meaning cause to forget, which, hey, we can forget the past. We don't have to live into it. We can let it go. The Medot is silence again. It's also order. We don't have any feasts this month, but that's okay. We get to eat colors of the rainbow to celebrate the flood and Noah and resting on that mountain and coming into the new, better way, right? And Ephesians talks about Yeshua's sacrifice as a fragrant offering. So I think of how can I be that pleasing aroma? By offering my heart, by offering my life, and by resting in him. This whole month, this whole year is going to be about rest, but this month is definitely about rest. So again, we don't have any feasts to celebrate. We get to rest in him. And so I invite you to listen, because that's part of resting too. Listen to just the different ways that he wants you to rest. Is it maybe a rest from a work project that's been taxing? Maybe just resting from a home project or even a relationship. We can take a rest in relationships. And I find that Shabbat, I don't know about y'all, but Shabbat, Abba always downloads answers on things that I've been meditating on, that I've been talking to him about. He even gives me answers sometimes to my questions on Shabbat because I'm resting and I'm able to get quiet, get silent, not worry about the dishes, not worry about the cleaning, not worry about what food I'm going to have, and just rest in him. So I'm able to listen better because it's quiet. Do y'all have that where you get some downloads on Shabbat? I mean, I don't know why more people don't do Shabbat. We get answers. It's wonderful. So even, this month we're transitioning. I don't know about y'all, but we had rain for Sukkot. I mean, rain is a blessing. So we had rainy days, and that's the start of autumn usually. Rainy days, cloudy skies. And, with that, it can kind of create a sort of down feeling. But we don't have to plant ourselves in that, right? Because as the leaves lose their leaves, we know that they're growing deeper. Their roots are growing deeper. And it's beautiful to let go of things. The leaves start turning colors. We love that beautiful scenery that he paints for us every fall with the colors of the trees. And it's gorgeous. So it's okay. We don't have to feel down. We just have to plant ourselves in him. We can look up and know that Abba has brought us through such a wonderful time, right? And he hasn't left us just because it's cloudy out or it's rainy out. That's a blessing. It's already been written. Rain is a blessing. And just like we've read in the Torah, he didn't leave Adam and Eve. He just brought them into a new season. He brought them out of one and into another. And we can enjoy and harness the beauty of this time and dig deeper, rest more in him. We can enjoy the beauty of this new moon, of the peace and the rest that we're going to get. So in talking about rest, here's some ideas that I think they've worked for me. And so one of them, remember, grab your journal, grab a notepad. I keep one with me. Grab my notepad, journal. What is it that he's trying to show me? I got to get to a page that's clear. Journal what you experience when using these different oil blends that I talk about, both the blends as well as the individual, the singular oils, the using of them singularly. So yeah, journaling's terrific. I love it. So if you haven't already, grab your pen and paper and maybe jot some things down. So resting the mind, allowing the Father to set my intentions, because I can think, all the stuff that I need to do when I'm on my own, but Father knows what's really important. So that rest, allowing it to come into the body, the mind, the spirit, all things. And I like to call that embodied faith, right? We're not just one part of ourselves. We are a whole embodied faith. And so for me, that is body, mind, spirit. So I started a cleanse on Monday. this past Monday because it's a terrific thing to do. If you haven't ever done one, it's a terrific thing to do, and you want to do it 4 to 5 days after the full moon. So perfect timing after Sukkot and all the feasts that we just came through and the eating of all the good food, right? Because you go to different people, either their campsite or their home if you stay home, and eat all this different food that maybe you don't normally eat. It's the onset of fall. So, back in the day, years ago, moms used to always have their kids cleanse before they go to school. So it's a common thing to start one. And for me, it's about letting my body have a time of rest from the sugars, from the dairy, from the grains, and all the things that cause inflammation. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my challah bread. And I love some good mozzarella with basil and tomatoes. Yeah. But sometimes our body just needs a rest. So I'm eating things like the rainbow, colors of the rainbow, the fruits and vegetables. I've been juicing and, of course, taking some supplements to help my body rid itself from parasites and bugs that, we've been playing outside during the summer and getting some of those. So anyway, cleanse is going great, feeling good, less inflammation, just overall feeling good. So, embodied movement. When I participate in embodied movement, that's what I like to call it too, is as I'm moving from one movement to another, I'm listening to my body. I'm listening to what is it telling me? What is it offering me to show me maybe something that I need to do, or maybe something I need to not do? It can reveal things to me that the Father wants me to work on. So that's part of the body. When I talk about full embodied resting our body, we have to get quiet and let it rest. That's part of the body. Then we're going to go into the mind and spirit. So another thing to do is soak in the tub. So all these things allow me to rest. And also with rest, surrender comes to mind. Surrender. And that's hard sometimes, And so, this time that I'm going through, I'm cleansing my body, taking care of my body. I'm moving from one thing to another in my practice. And then I get to take a nice, relaxing soak in the tub. If I don't have time for a full soak in the tub, hey, feet are great. You can put your feet in the tub. And so the oils, this comes to our oils now that I'm going to talk about, are ones that you can put in the tub. You can mix it with Epsom salts and Himalayan salt, drop it in your tub. You can put these oils together and diffuse them and allow the body to soak that in. Our nose is the first in responding to that fragrance, and it goes into the brain and goes all throughout the body, creating a almost pretty much immediate response. And so our first oil that I want to talk about is rose. Who loves rose on here? Just wave a hand. Put your hand up if you're muted or not on video. Yes, Sydney, you love rose. I love rose. How many you like when your husband gives you roses, right? I don't know any woman that doesn't. And what's the first thing we do? Yep. Take them and smell them. Well, why do we do that? Because it is the highest frequency on the planet as far as our fragrances, and it's a powerful healer of the heart. Think about it. You could be having a bad day. You could have been arguing with your kids or your husband or, whoever, and you get that rose and you breathe it in and it just kind of makes you so it supports reaching heavenward. And that's what resting in him is about too. And it just started raining here in Tennessee. So, yeah, more of that rain. It's a good day to rest, you know, pull up a movie or a teaching and just rest. So, Rose supports reaching heavenward, reaching up to God, reaching up to our Father, and connecting with him, connecting with his love. He didn't just give us fragrances to smell good, although that is a big part of it. He loves pleasing aromas too, right? But he gave us the aromas to help change us, to help release us, to help encourage us and connect us back to him. Adam and Eve, we just read, they were placed in that garden. And the trees and the plants and the seeds and the fruit and all of that were given to us. So we get those fragrances from those plants. And it's just beautiful. So Rose touches and teaches the essential need for him. And it helps in intervention in a healing process, in a lot of healing processes, emotionally. And as we open up more by smelling that fragrance, we can respond more. The heart is softened, right? When your husband walks in that door and maybe you've been having a hard or difficult time and you see those roses, what does it do? It can soften the heart. And that fragrance. So I invite you to, just let go. Grab your bottle of rose. We do offer rose in a touch form, so it's super easy to put on. You don't have to go without it. You can have it. And, I want to talk about that now too. Whatever oils you're using, make sure that they are 100% pure, tested, and that you are using something that's going to give you the most benefit. I can talk to you more about the oils that you're choosing if you have questions about them, which brand, what do I need to look for, because that is important. We want the purest form of an oil. And we do tons and tons of testing. Nobody does the testing like we do as far as the purity, the efficacy, and the medical attributes of it. And I know other companies say they do, and they do testing. I'm not saying they don't, but it's been known that they will say, oh, we do it like this one. Well, they don't, because they don't put the time into it. So be sure you're getting a good oil, pure, because if it's not pure, it's going to have things in there that are going to possibly cause an effect that you're not going to want. So just putting that out there. So when we smell that rose, we just, our shoulders kind of go back down. Our emotions are lifted up. We can choose to let go of things and soften our heart. We can choose to receive. You had to have your hand open to receive those roses, right? So have your hand open to receive Father's love. He wants to show you his love through people, through his creation. And it's wrapped in warmth and compassion So Rose also invites us to experience an unwavering, unchanging, unconditional love of our Father. So it helps to heal those wounds that we've probably not looked at for a while. And it can restore us to authenticity. The big thing is talking about, oh, who am I? Be your true self. Be who God made you to be. Well, who did he create you to be? Rose can invite you back into, and when you're resting in him, Rose brings that sense of rest and helps you to address your heart and wounds that may be there, that it can help restore us, bring that wholeness, bring that purity of who he created us to be. And when we feel that unconditional love, and acceptance, the heart is softened even more. So as the heart fully opens, a fountain begins to flow, right? Think of the fountain, and it flows freely, touching our soul. So, in that state, we can feel that compassion even more and experience even more. Rose embodies that divine love and really teaches us, if we take the time to rest and inhale, how to connect through perhaps prayer, meditation, and we all can use that more, right? So some negative feelings that Rose can help with are maybe, this new month we don't have any feasts. We've just come out of celebrations and we can get kind of down. So it can help lift us back up. We can feel kind of constricted, like, I don't know what to do now. Like, what does my days look like? We spent so much time getting ready for the feasts and preparing our heart, right? But now we're in this month and there's like, okay, what do we do now? So we can feel constricted, closed, maybe closed off because we're not getting together with friends or family. We can feel brokenhearted. Or maybe we've had some things that came up getting together with all those people and now we feel wounded. So Rose can help with all of those negative emotions and inspire love and compassion, healing to the heart, can help us be tenderhearted, can help us feel accepted again. And sometimes we just need to turn that diffuser on. We need to open that bottle and turn that diffuser on so that we can feel these things again. All right, so what does Rose do for us on a physical level? Because remember, I've just talked about the mind and the spirit connecting back with our Father and our mind and our emotions. So now what can Rose do for us on a physical level? Well, Rose is an aphrodisiac. Don't spit your water out. It's an aphrodisiac, and it's also good for the skin. It is a antibacterial. So think of any kind of bugs that might come our way. Stomach bugs have been going around, and so Rose is terrific to help with any kind of bacterial infection or maybe skin. If you get a scrape, if you've got kids and they get a little road rash, grab your Rose. That Rose touch is beautiful to just roll right on there. Helps with scarring, preventing scarring. Anti-infectious. It's sedative, so it'll help you rest. And it has been utilized for like forever and ever. So grab your rose and enjoy. It's been this time of year with the pollen in the air. Anybody allergic to ragweed? No? Good. Me neither. A lot of people are. And so rose can help with that infection if you might get a little bit, if it goes on too long and you haven't cleared any of that stuff out. So think of that when you think of your rose. Thrush for babies. That's an infection. Rose can help with that. And you look like you're opening bottles. Are you opening bottles? Are you going to start smelling them? I didn't bring them over to my daughters, or I would be. I would be opening them and smelling them because you know I always do that when I'm on the call. But I love, love, love rose. So, all right, what other goodie do I have for you for this blend? Oh, and you're going to put 3 drops of rose if you're going to diffuse it. We're going to move on to sandalwood. Who doesn't love sandalwood? I know I love it. It's kind of earthy and just, again, that sense of peace, stillness. So, in fact, it also assists with prayer and meditation, worship. So maybe you want to put this diffuser blend in your diffuser if you're turning on some worship music and just set the mood. I love putting worship music on first thing in the morning when I wake up and diffusing. So sandalwood teaches us reverence and respect for our Father. And it's been used since ancient times, right? Because of its ability to calm the mind and still the heart. Helps us to communicate with our Father. I don't know exactly how our Father knows this, but when we use his gifts of these oils, man, yeah, Sydney, it's a favorite of mine too. I love it. It's great for perfumes as the base. You know, it lingers longer. So it teaches us a certain devotion and sacrifice, surrender. It kind of invites us to place our material things on the altar. And that's perfect for Shabbat, right? For Shabbat. Do y'all have to place things on the altar? I know I do, because when I see those dishes in the sink, sometimes I want to get them done. But that's not resting. So I'll admit, sometimes I do just put them in the dishwasher because I can either put them in the sink or put them in the dishwasher, you know, and I'll just get them in there and get them out of my way because that's not letting me rest if I'm worrying about those dishes. So I've trained myself to just put them in there. So that means I have to plan ahead, right? That 6th day, make sure my dishwasher is empty and I don't have clean dishes in there because I don't want to put them away. So those are just things, some little things that I do to help myself rest. Instead of being challenged, you know, I don't want to be challenged on Shabbat. I want him to pour in to me. So yeah, it can help me reorder priorities earlier in the week so that I get the main things. And that's where journaling comes in, because maybe there's some main things that you want to do that you think of, and you want to do those because you want to enter into his rest even more. So maybe putting this diffuser blend on, try it this next week, see what happens. And I invite you to journal as you do it. Maybe put one of the oils in this blend in your diffuser and journal. What is it doing? How's your reaction? And then go to the next one. Sandalwood helps to quiet the mind. So think about that for Shabbat, so that we can hear his voice. It raises us again to a higher level, higher frequency. Not exactly sure the frequency numbers for sandalwood, but it does help raise our consciousness, ourselves. It helps to just kind of leave some things go, let them go. Again, that's that resting thing. So some negative things that sandalwood helps with is if you're feeling disconnected, and that can happen this month because, disconnected to our Father, because like I've mentioned, we have come through some feasts. We've come through a super high spiritual time of spending time with Father, looking at our heart, having him talk to us and showing us things. And so we can maybe become, and I'm not speaking this over anybody, so do not receive that disconnected from him, but realize that can happen and say, no, take those thoughts captive onto him and not become disconnected. So that's a negative emotion, whereas sandalwood can help you stay connected. Overthinking can be a problem. Thinking about all of the events of the feast. So it can help let that go. So some positive properties of it is helps keep us humble, helps keep us devoted. That's an interesting thought, isn't it? It can help bring spiritual clarity, stillness, surrender. And surrender's been a big one. Surrendering, letting go of things over the last couple months, right? Preparing for our time with him. So, yeah. All right. Our next oil that we're going to talk about is vanilla. Oh, did I tell you that the amount of drops for sandalwood is 2 drops? Okay, for your blend. Oh, and I didn't go into the body stuff. Let me go into that real quick before I touch on vanilla. And so sandalwood is, again, an aphrodisiac. It's terrific for, how do I want to say this? As we age, we tend to lose some of our mental capabilities, and it becomes more difficult for our family because they may not recognize us. They may not remember who we are. They may have trouble remembering what they did 2 minutes ago. They may ask lots of questions. And so sandalwood can help with that just by inhaling it, putting it in a diffuser form. It can help with cartilage repair. So my daughter, I mentioned that she had the tendon burst from her thumb to her wrist and had to have surgery. So cartilage is thicker fiber, muscle, it's thicker. It's like our, really holds our nose where it needs to be. We have cartilage throughout our body. Well, sometimes that can get damaged. So it can help with that, helping to repair it. So we're going to be using that because I think it'll help with all the things I've talked about emotionally and spiritually. It will help in a little bit of that repairing of that tendon. Even though it says cartilage, it can help with the tendons too. So it can help again with our meditation. What about multiple sclerosis? Do you know anybody with that? That's a nerve thing that can go on. So using a sandalwood, topically diffusing it can help with that. Vitiligo, that is a skin condition where your skin can become white. And again, that meditation. So think about body, mind, and spirit when you're using these oils. When you're journaling, write down what is being shown to you. All right, so on to vanilla. Who loves vanilla? I know I do. Yes. So vanilla is easily one of the most popular and recognizable scents, right? And flavors of the world, like literally of the world. We can use it in baking. We can use it flavoring drinks. It's wonderful. It is one of the most expensive oils to produce, believe it or not. And why? Because the plants, they bloom, they must be hand pollinated because we don't always have the insects that go around to them. So they have to be hand pollinated. And then it takes 3 to 4 years for the vanilla plant to begin producing beans that then have to be harvested by hand. So it's truly a expensive oil. We have it. Just, it's wonderful, wonderful. Let's see, what else? The beans go through a time-consuming and very labor-intensive process to preserve the vanilla, the aroma. And so, did you know that when we smell vanilla, it actually has an effect on our neurotransmitters? Now, what in the world are neurotransmitters, right? That's where I kind of geek out. I get into all that science and I research and I study. Neurotransmitters are substances which neurons use to communicate with one another and with their targeted tissues in our body. They're synthesized in and released from nerve endings into our body. Hold on 1 second. I need to get a drink. My drink is over here, so I'm going to just mute and grab my drink. Oh, okay, I'm unmuted. All right, so from there, once they synthesize and then get released from the nerve endings into the synaptic cleft, from there they bind to the receptors of proteins in the cellular membrane of that targeted tissue. Hold on. Okay. Am I muted? Good? Okay. So what happens is the targeted tissue gets excited and inhibited or functionally modified in some way. And we have there's more than 400 neurotransmitters in our human nervous system. And there's ones like GABA, which is the gamma aminobutyric acid, GABA, which I've talked about. I think I've talked about it here. There's glutamate, serotonin, histamine, dopamine. So there's different ones. And vanilla acts as an antidepressant. So rest from depression. So it's terrific for this time of year, right? I've talked about coming out of the feasts, maybe having a little bit of that. I don't want to say depressed. I'm not speaking that over anybody, but that just little downtime because we've had so much fun. So vanilla can help give us rest from depression. And that's why I included it to help us rest from those symptoms. So vanilla in the early 1990s, they really started using, perfume makers really started using vanilla as a very significant note in their perfumes, in their fragrances. And now vanilla is a dominant ingredient in a large number of perfumes, and it's associated with warmth, softness, caring, but it also has connections of purity and simplicity. So again, that rest. And I don't have a lot of the facts on what it can do physically for our body, but I know what it does when we open it up and we smell it. So I just want to encourage you, drop your drops in your diffuser and enjoy the rest that you're going to get from the fragrance of these oils. They're beautiful. So, do we have any questions about any of these oils? Then I will see. Oh, maybe silly question. What is aphrodisiac? Okay, so that is something that most would say begins to create that intimacy. There's different foods you can eat, like chocolate covered strawberries, bringing roses. Those can all be mood enhancers for intimacy. That's what an aphrodisiac is. So I've started looking into herbs and oils, and herbs are the oils or herbs more beneficial? I mean, I know they're both super. The highest that you can get. Going to one drop, maybe two, because of it. Drop, maybe even start with a half a drop. When we want to put herbs help to balance us. Oils super high antibiotic properties. Okay, yeah, I saw that my internet. You don't have to use as much. They they can really help. The oils, because they're potent. Leanne, what do you know about oils? I know you know a lot too.
I am not as well versed as you are. And I don't know if you can hear me or not because it still says your bandwidth is low.
I can hear you. I don't know if Debbie can, but I can.
Okay, good. At least somebody out there in the Ethernet can hear. What I know about oil, someone introduced, actually, my rabbi's wife introduced me to oils many years ago prior to me following a Hebraic way. So that was kind of a divine appointment there. But I like to use them instead of traditional medicines, like if your back hurts or your head hurts, instead of reaching for a pharmaceutical, you reach for an oil or a blend or something like that. So that's how I typically use them in my life. I like smelling them, just like grapefruit to me is my go-to. If I start kind of getting sleepy during the day, grapefruit for me is a really good pick-me-up because it's so citrusy. Putting them in water, the kind of water can be bland, but everything out there on the market to make water taste good is full of different colors and other products that I don't really want right now. So I like putting lemon or orange or something like that in water. But typically it's just like health prevention since we're in this COVID world, diffusing things that are going to naturally cleanse the air, help keep my immunity up. Those are pretty much my everyday type oils. And I hope you can hear me, Debbie. I see you moving a little bit. So,
well, I'm hoping the recording is good.
It still has been recording.
Hopefully it's good.
I've not stopped it or paused it, so we'll see on the replay how it looks.
Okay, yeah.
Try turning your camera off and then talking. Sometimes that will help your internet if you have low connection.
How's that?
I can hear you right now.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Sometimes, removing one can make the bandwidth a little stronger on the other.
Okay, well, hopefully
you sound good.
Hopefully the recording will be good and it won't be choppy. I didn't realize it was doing that. I'm at my daughter's, so I'm not in my normal surroundings and stuff. So that could be why.
It only started whenever you started explaining the difference between oils and herbs. Everything else was fine. So it made it at the very end.
Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, and I use them for the same reasons, Leanne. Like I reach for that, we just got with some neighbors last night and we're chatting and stuff and I was talking with her about, how we use the oils and stuff because, it's been so long that we've used them. I mean, I am a trained birth doula since 2012 and that's when I was introduced to doTERRA. And, when my clients started knowing that there were different alternatives, that's when we decided, okay, well, maybe we should, look into this more. Because I had been using oils from just, at the store, and they were, they said pure. I had ordered from a very reputable company online. And when I got home and I looked at my bottle, I was shocked because of what I saw the actual ingredients were. I was horrified. I'm like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. Because online it says pure, pure grade, organic. And so when my husband looked at the company, he was like, you know what? We've been in business for a long time. And I mean, we had our landscaping and lawn maintenance company for 30 years. He was like, that means something when the company stands behind what they say. So that's why we decided to go with the company. We researched different ones, and that's what he came back to me with and said, look, yeah, because we found out about that. And so that's when I started using doTERRA brand. And as a birth doula, like my clients, they want the natural, they want the good, the pure, because they don't want to have to take a Tylenol for a headache when they're pregnant or nursing. They don't want to take ibuprofen because it can go to the baby. What do I do when I have a headache? Epsom salts and some peppermint and success. How do I not get GBS when I'm pregnant? Those type things. And so, then I became a certified aromatherapist, and then I use them in my functional movement teaching. So all things, becoming a health coach, like, are you kidding? These are unbelievable. I mean, I can tell you testimony after testimony of how they've worked for people. So love, love, love my oils. I still have my herbs. In fact, I'll try to remember to take a picture of my herb shelf, because I specifically had my friend, her and we foraged together, we did herbs together, studying herbs and creating tinctures, learning how to do all that before, like probably 20 years ago, we were doing all of this. And so I had him, her husband, and mine got together and built me a shelf. So I have all my tinctures there. I have my oils not there because that's my tincture shelf, but and I have them in my mason jars. So I literally said, I want this size shelf. And I showed him my mason jar. I want this size. And I had 3 or 4 different sizes, and they built it for me. I'll try to remember to take a picture of that when I get home and share it, because plants work. That's what Bayer aspen started out as, white willow bark. And unfortunately, for different reasons, they started making things synthetically. But our body has a hard time with that. It has a hard time breaking that down and getting to the root of our problem. So herbs, it may take a little longer. Oils, it may take, well, not necessarily the oils, but herbs can take a little longer. Oils, maybe it takes a couple different applications of peppermint to help calm that head pressure down. But it's allowing your body to do what it needs to do. Maybe it's fighting off something. Or maybe you've got tummy troubles, and instead of grabbing a Tums, you grab an oil and put it on there. You're going to get almost all the time, almost immediate relief. And you're not going to have all the harsh toxins in your body. So I know I'm going on and on. Anyway, yeah, love, love, love oils. And how about you, Deb? There is another Deb on here. She may want to stay muted, so we can go ahead and stop the recording if you want. And that's all I got for you, ladies.